Okay, so recently a client of mine broke his collarbone. So today we're gonna do a pretty much hands-free mobilizing session for the core and legs because we're gonna imagine that we have one arm in a sling here. So let's bring ourselves onto our mat. You're gonna tuck your toes underneath and sit back on your heels. This is how you're gonna begin. Just find your breath. Keep the spine nice and tall, draw the shoulders back. Slow things down. Not taking a ton of time, you're just allowing the soles of the feet to open up. Then you're gonna release, untuck the toes and sit back down. You can lean yourself back if that's okay in the ankles. Stretch the top of the ankles into the feet. And you're gonna widen your knees and you're gonna bring yourself down. I'm gonna improvise as if I have one hand in a sling. Breathing here for a while, and then widen your stance so that the knees go wide, the heels come out. You sink your hips back. And in each one of these poses, you can go for a little bit longer. You can be a little dynamic with it, moving into the hips to see what's going on there. Walk your toes in, walk your knees, toes and knees. Step one leg forward. Sink into the hips. And here, be a little dynamic. Draw in and out of it, inhale, and exhale forward. Inhale back, exhale forward. Feeling into the hip flexor, squaring the hips so they're not shifting off to the side, they're drawing nice and forward. And then lean the torso over towards the left. Breathe into the body. Feel all the way down into the belly, into the hip. Draw yourself up and pivot the back leg in, sink into the hips. You can rotate the torso into the inner thigh here. Here, draw yourself up, step the left leg back, step the right leg forward. Exhale, sink into the hips. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, sink in. Again, just a few times, mobilizing into the legs. Inhaling and exhaling. And then you find that position at the low point of the low lunge. You lengthen yourself over towards the right. If your arms are able to be used, you can lengthen up. Pivot the back leg in, sink into the hips. Torso coming over towards the right hip flexor, to the thigh. Draw yourself back. Draw your toes under, so toes tuck. Widen your knees and sink here. So now toes are tucked, but hips are wide. Just breathe for a few moments. Just opening everything up bit by bit. Draw the knees in. Widen the feet and untuck the toes. So now you're gonna sink in between the feet. The toes untucked. Stay with the breathing. Draw yourself back up. Walk the left leg forward, tuck the back toes underneath you, lift the hips up, and then floss. So now you're just moving back and forward into the hips, back and forward. And we're gonna work our way towards the back. So you're gonna pivot the back heel down, pivot side to side, until you're facing the back of the mat. Then you're gonna come back around, working into the hips. And for our sake here, I'm gonna say you pause in the middle of the mat, but for demonstration, I'm gonna show it from the front. You're coming into this horse lunge, horse squat, goddess squat, whatever you wanna call it. You're gonna inhale down and exhale up. Inhale down and exhale up. Inhale and exhale. Stay with the breathing. Pause at the bottom, not the top as much if you can. Good. We're going to start working into the strengthening part of the legs here. Stay with the breathing. Keep going. Think about yourself as a piston. The inhale catches you at the bottom, the exhale drives you up. The inhale catches you, exhale drives you up. Good. Now point the toes forward, sink the hips back, hinge, and then exhale, drive yourself up. Think kind of like a gorilla stance. You're doing this hip hinge now. Inhale back, exhale forward. Inhale and exhale. You're focusing on squeezing the glutes up and then drawing the hips back. Squeeze the glutes up, draw the hips back. Focus into the breath. Keep the shoulders back. Keep the spine nice and straight. Stay with it. Come back to the horse stance and sink deep. It's a deep, low squat. Just as tall. Draw yourself up, maybe come onto the toes, lower slow. Draw yourself up, lower slow. Up, down. Focus here. Find your breathing. Slow it down. Stay committed. We're going to keep working around the legs. So it's continuous, but we're not using the same muscle groupings every time. We're working different lines of energy. The left leg's going to go forward, the right leg's going to go back. Okay? You're going to bend into the front knee, send the left hip back and the right hip as you extend out. Inhale, lengthening back behind you. Exhale, driving yourself up. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, up for 10. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Think about someone pulling your hip back and then driving it up. Pulling the hip back, driving it up, squeezing. Inhale back. Exhale up. If the toe touches in the back, it's fine. Inhale and exhale. Stay with the breathing. Inhale and exhale. A few more. Inhale. Let's say 6, right? I don't know. It's all good if you do a little more. 7, 8. The motion is coming from the hip. 9, 10. Good. Bring the back leg onto the floor. That same motion of sending the hips back. Then stand yourself up by driving the left hip forward. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze up. 2, 3, 4. Focus on the hips. 5, 6. Again, no arms are being used as much as you can. 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring yourself to standing, but lift the right leg. Stabilizing and finding balance. Extend the right leg back. Woo! Stabilizing and finding balance. Then exhale, stand yourself up, mountain pose. Same thing other side. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, draw yourself up, bend to the knee a little bit more. Inhale, send the hip back. Exhale, squeeze the hip forward. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. Take as much time as you need to really feel the muscles engage, hold you, and then exhale, drive you up. Inhale. Exhale, let's say 5 more. 5. Woo. 4, 3, 2, keep going. 1, good. Now we're going into that lunge sequence. You inhale the back leg to the floor. Exhale, squeeze yourself up, stand. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, strong breath, 8, 9, 10, brings you to that tree balancing posture. Pause for a few moments. You extend the left leg back. Find that warrior position. You breathe. You exhale, stand yourself up. From here, we're gonna go into like what would be a straight-legged deadlift. We're just gonna do it with no weight. So, legs stay nice and tight, knees bend slightly, send the hips back, and then squeeze the hips forward. Inhale, exhale. What you want to imagine here, it's like the femur bones. Imagine these are the femurs. They rotate in as you send back, and they exhale, press the hips forward. Inhale, they rotate. Exhale, they rotate forward. Internal rotation, external rotation, all pulled by the glutes. Good. Inhale back, exhale up. Hold the hips back, squeeze the belly in, drive the hips forward. Really focus on that squeeze. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we're gonna add on to it. If you have a band, like one of these little hip circles, you're gonna grab the band. Oh, right, imagine you have only one arm. Place it on the legs, a few inches above the knees, about here or so. And we're gonna do some side steps, but we're gonna do it with really particular breath. You inhale as you step to the side, so you create this protective, internal barrier, Valsalva's maneuver, where your internal musculature expands out and grips, and then you exhale to stand. So it's inhale to the side, exhale, drive the hips forward, stand up. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Just focus on that, focusing on the breathing. Inhale, exhale. Something we don't want to have happen is the knees collapse in. Drive them out the whole time. Exhale up, inhale side, exhale up. Focus on the breath. Focus on the feeling. Focus on the form. Feel, form, and function always. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. They should start to get toasty. If they're not, go a little faster. Good, let's take 2 more. Okay, keep the band on. You're gonna go back into that lunge, but you're not focusing on the glute that's been activated. So let's start with the left leg forward. Inhale, step it back. Sort of at 90 and 90 degrees of the legs, and then drive the hips, stand you up. Back and up. Back and up. Control both the descent and ascent. Focus on the glute. Let's say that's 3. Hit for 12. 4, 5. And notice my torso is coming forward, which draws my hip back, so I can press the hip forward. Inhale and exhale. A few more. I've already lost count, so let's say 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch. Left leg back. 1, 2. One side will be different than the other, so do your best to bring your mind to pay equal attention to both sides. Your mind will get bored. One side will feel sloppier. It means you gotta put more attention, not less. Let's hit 6 from here. 5. Inhale back, exhale up. 4, 3, 2, Let's stay with the activity in the legs. Widen your stance out, send the hips back, drive the hips up. Pause the bottom to the top. That's it, like many. Just focus on yourself as a tool here, right? You're a piston, you're one of those oil rigs that dives into the ground. You're bellows for fire. Pause at the bottom, squeeze the glutes to drive you up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go back to that side stepping. So inhale out to the sides, exhale to standing. Send the hips back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. That's 1. That's 2. Let's go for 10. Focus on the breath, focus on the hips. Legs probably feel quite a lot. Stay with it. Let's do 3 more rounds. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. The band can stay on or it can come back off. Whatever works. Toes together, we're going to that hinge again. Inhale, hips back. Exhale, drive hips forward. Really squeeze the glutes to bring you up. Inhale back, exhale up. Focus, drive the hips, roll them back. Drive the hips, roll them back. Drive, roll back. Just a few more. Say 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Band off. Okay, let's say left leg forward, right leg back. You're again gonna floss, but you're gonna work into the calves as well. So you're engaging all the way through the toes. Inhale the leg back and exhale to stand, but rise onto the toes. Inhale back, exhale, stand on the toes. Inhale back, exhale, up. Inhale back, exhale up. Engagement all the way through the lines of the body here. Up, just a few. Up. Now bring both heels up and floss. Feel into the legs. Woo, find your balance. Widen your stance if your balance is a little off. Floss to the hips. Step the other side. Step back. Go up onto the toes. Step back. Up. Step back. Up. You're not doing a ton. You activated all that muscle. So now you're doing something that teaches balance, teaches coordination, teaches a little bit of more functional movement here. You engage the muscle by doing repetitions or overcoming load, and then you do something to make it intelligent, to bring it through patterns that require the nervous system and the mind to coordinate you a little bit better. Good. Okay, from here, take a rest. Bring yourself back onto the shins. Sink back onto the heels. Stretch the bottoms of the feet. Feel for a moment. A lot of work in the legs there. Untuck the toes. Sink the hips back. Breathe there for a few moments. Feel what's going on. I like to play with variations, so widening the legs out. Different angle of stretch on the thighs. Feel that space. Maybe knees together, feet wide now. Sink in between. Be very mindful of your knees, right? You just activated a lot of muscle to keep the joint safe. So if you dump into something quickly without enough proper muscular activation, you can make the joints a little grumpy, so be careful. Draw yourself forward, step a leg forward, say left leg here. Sink into the hips, but keep the spine nice and tall. Step left leg back, right leg forward. Sink into the hips. Breathe for a few moments. Okay, we're gonna bring ourselves into a pigeon. Probably not gonna go very graceful. If you can, amazing. You're gonna try to bring the right leg onto the shin. The amount of angle you have here, if it's more parallel to the mat, the more intense it's gonna be on the knee. Slide the left leg back. Bring the body upright first if you can. Then you bring yourself down. But spend a few moments upright before you come down to the ground. Best you're able. Draw yourself upright. You're gonna switch your legs however you can. Left leg's gonna come forward. Get that shin onto the ground. Maybe it's a little wonky. Try to do it graceful. Graceful like a moose, you know? But kind of graceful. It's good enough. Good enough is good enough. Draw yourself up nice and tall, and then hinge forward. This leg, for me, has a lot more going on. So slow it down, don't go so deep. All right, pivot the legs around. We're still imagining that we can only use one arm, right? Bring the feet out wide. Knock both legs to the right. Inhale yourself up. Then exhale, hinge the body down. Inhale, center. Switch the legs. Cross. Hold down. Exhale in. Inhale. Again, first side. Exhale. If you can use the arms, stretch. Inhale, otherwise you don't. Exhale. Down. Inhale up. Soles of the feet together. They can stay close in bound angle here, or they can go to a pyramid or a diamond and fold yourself forward here. Try to think of the heart coming forward nice and broad before you just collapse. And then you're going to pair this with wide-legged, hinging forward. Any variations off to the side are going to be good if that feels nice in your body. Maybe you even roll through, come to the other side. Draw up, feet together, coming into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Be right here. If you have one arm usable, clasp onto the feet maybe. But maybe not, because that's going to make you a little asymmetrical. Be here, wherever you're at. Think about pulling the femur bones into the hip sockets and the belly drawing you forward and over. So you're using your abdominals to draw you in. From here, you draw up, you lie down. You spend as much time as feels right lying down just to let everything reset and settle. And there you've got a hands-free workout. Hope you enjoyed. Be well.